the activity is related to this robot. I don't know if you are familiar with it. It is called Baymax, and it is a robot from a movie which is called Big Hero 6. It is supposed to be a medical robot. Okay, you can see that the robot is more or less fat. It's a white robot. Okay, and the point is that I want you to think about if this is a realistic robot in the near future, or do you think that it is more realistic having a humanoid robot, like for instance those that you can see in sci-fi movies? I don't know, let's say Terminator or AI, the movie or whatever. I mean, do you think that this robot from this movie is realistic? It is completely far from reality. This is obviously we are talking about intelligent robotics, okay? Or do you think it is a possible way to have robots in the future? I mean, in the next 10 minutes, you have to think about this robot. You can search on the internet information about it. It has sensors, it has actuators, it has some learning and things like that. So thinking about that in general, do you think is this more realistic than a humanoid robot or not? Okay, so I will create again the rooms, and now you can discuss for 10 minutes, and the last okay, so you are all of you are here, so let's continue with this activity. Please, one of the students from Lithuania, what do you think about Baymax, and is this a realistic robot or not?
I think that Baymax would not be a realistic robot in future, because the medical robots can never be perfect and do some mistakes, and I would never entrust my life to a robot.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. What about the Slovenian students?
Honestly, I think a bigger robot would achieve more familiarity, and thus it would not be so realistic to have a robot that small.
Okay, but can you explain a little bit? I mean, do you think it is not realistic? But why? Do you think it's too complicated or too simple to be realistic?
Simple.
Too simple. Okay. And what about the Italian team?
I think that Baymax could not be a realistic robot, because basing on the 8 points of the AI system on the 8 topics, if we talk about, for example, perception, actuation, we can say that it could be a realistic robot. But if we talk about representation, reasoning, I didn't find them. So I think that it couldn't be a realistic robot in the future.
Okay. And what about the Spanish team? What do you think?
What we talked about is that we think it's going to be a realistic robot in the future, because the fact that it doesn't look like a human makes it more appealing for humans to be around it, because humans feel threatened by more intelligent beings.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I would say that obviously there is not an only answer to this, but your feeling should be that Baymax is a very realistic robot, okay? Because you have to keep in mind that this robot is focused in a specific application, okay, which is in this case medical application, okay. It could be more or less reliable, okay, we can discuss about that, but the thing is that the sensors are focused in a given application, the actuation, the shape, the body of the robot, is very good for this application field. In fact, it can use information from many medical databases, so it can provide a very good diagnosis in any health that you can imagine. So the idea is that it is much more realistic, this type of a specific robot, than humanoid robots or any other robot that you could have watching in movies. Okay, so think about that. I try to talk about this robot because one of the creators of this robot is a very famous researcher in robotics in the MIT in USA. So this robot is quite realistic and it's quite reliable. Okay, so think about that. So